And this episode was brought to you by DraftKings Sportsbook, America's top-rated sportsbooking app. Not only is it safe, Deke, but it is secure and reliable.
Always a great thing.
No question. And for all the first-time users out there, if you use the promo code MOATS, you will receive up to $1,000 in deposit bonus money. So, Deke, you like free money, right?
Who doesn't?
You also like the opportunity to win more money, correct?
Especially when it involves sports.
So, what are they waiting on? Download the app, use the promo code, and you get that. You get that opportunity to make some more money, baby. So literally, stop wasting time. Download the app, use the promo code, and get that opportunity, baby. But it's a perfect transition because they are one of the big matchups this week in the division round, man.
Yeah.
And they're going against who? One of our division rival, our biggest foe, the Baltimore Ravens.
This is just a tough weekend for me, dude.
It is for you, man.
It's tough.
There are no good scenarios.
The Bills, such a neutral team in general my whole life. Now I've become like one of my biggest foes.
Yep. Because if they win, that validates Josh Allen. It validates.
I got nothing against Allen. I got nothing against Allen.
We
I think it's more the Bills at this point where I'm just like, I do not want to see them win. I really don't.
And they've been one of the most humble teams. I think they're your new Titans right now. That the way you felt about the Titans is how you feel about the Bills. Even though I think the Bills are a better team than the Titans.
Oh, definitely.
I do think that, but it's just I feel like that's how you're viewing.
I don't think the Titans anymore because, like I said, I'm over the Tannehill hate because what he's kind of proved over these past couple years.
Even in the playoffs,
he belongs. He belongs.
Yes.
And then Derrick Henry definitely showed like his first 3 or 4 years was just kind of like, I don't know, maybe it was due to coaching or whatever it was because he's the best running back in the league now. So they're a team. They're definitely a team.
Yeah.
With the Bills, you can see they're a team too. They played.
The flip side
they played good all year.
The flip side would be the Ravens going to the AFC
division rivals. Yeah,
it's a lose-lose for you.
It's tough.
I can see. If you had to pick, though, what's the lesser of two evils?
Oh man, I don't know.
Buffalo, right? You wouldn't want the Ravens to win, would you? You're not a Baltimore guy.
Here's the thing. Once I get to this point, the Steelers are out. I've talked about this in the past. I don't go all out rooting for a team to lose or anything like that.
This is the Ravens. This is not just a team. This is the Ravens.
You let the chips fall as they may. You let the better team win. That's all.
This is the Ravens.
That's all. You look for good football. You look for exciting football. That's it.
So they're not getting clapped next week. That's not how you
who the Ravens?
The Ravens
against the Bills? No, that's gonna be a good game. That's gonna be a really good game. I think it's gonna come down to the wire.
I think so as well. I think whoever survives that, because I think it's definitely going to be a bloodbath. Whoever survives it,
they got a good chance of beating the Chiefs. Let's just say I'm picking the Chiefs to beat the Browns.
My problem is this. I think whoever comes out of this matchup between Bills and Ravens, I think because of how taxing this game is going to be both physically and I think it will be a higher scoring affair, I don't know what the state of that team is going to look like the following week from a health standpoint.
It could be one of those things where you just keep rolling, though. You take that momentum. But you're right. Maybe it is going to be a little too much.
Different. You look at that Ravens-Titans like, dude, that was a heavyweight slugfest. Like, you don't just walk up out of there. That's why I was glad when we talked about here in Pittsburgh. It was like, man, we didn't want either of those because the assumption was, man, that's going to be a very physical game. And going forward, it could hold you back some. So that's kind of how I look at this game. But I love the storylines. I think it's a great scenario because, number one, you're going to end – whether it's Josh Allen or Lamar Jackson, the whole narrative of they can't win big games. They've already
I think they already have. I think they have.
But this is even it goes to a next level when you can get your team to an AFC championship game. That is huge. For either of these quarterbacks, Josh Allen, who's in line for a mega deal this offseason, the Bills have already put those reports out there that they want to make him one of the highest paid quarterbacks. Obviously, he won't be the highest paid because of Mahomes, but they want to have him in that same type of category of being one of the highest paid guys. And then Lamar is in a similar situation as well, where his contract is going to be time for him to get an extension. Big for both of these guys. Big in terms of this is both of their first time winning playoff games this year. So how do they respond the following week? Or are they going to have a letdown? Are they going to rise to the occasion? Are they going to elevate their play? And then for both organizations, can the Ravens continue on under Lamar with Harbaugh? Can they have playoff success with those guys? Similar situation in Buffalo. Hey, can McDermott lead these guys through the playoffs, or are they a one and done team? Are they they won a wild card game, but they can't go further?
Hold on. I know I get all these storylines, but I'm really not thinking this because of how young these guys are, though.
Right, but think about
I'm not going to necessarily be saying all this.
But this is my thing, right? How many people, you said how young they are. We're saying Lamar Jackson couldn't win a playoff game because of 2 playoff performances, and one where realistically the offense wasn't even designed for him. It was a Joe Flacco thing, and then it turned into a Lamar, and then it became, we made it into the playoffs somehow. And they would say that Lamar couldn't win in the playoffs because of 2 performances.
I think that as a statement is false, but I don't think it's wrong to say, let's wait and see how these guys do.
But no. It wasn't a let's wait and see.
I know. I think it's
label that
I think it's wrong for saying that label, especially. I think it's wrong for saying that, especially how young those guys are.
But you see why now when you talk about, man, that narrative seems a little rough.
It's
like
crazy,
dude. That was literally what they were saying about both of these guys a week ago. Going into that game against the Titans, people were over here, well, Lamar hasn't shown he can win in the playoffs. Lamar can't win the big one. You seen what happens when he plays the Chiefs? Man, you saw what happened last year in the playoffs. Saw versus Chargers in the playoffs. It's like, bro, the Chargers game, we know the factors in that. And that's why I'm always big on detail, not just numbers. Because statistically, yeah, he's technically 0-2 in the playoffs at the time. But we all know, anybody that watched Lamar's first year with the Ravens know that offense was nowhere near designed for him the way it is in year 2. The personnel surrounding him in year 1 was nowhere near the personnel surrounding him in year 2. You want to throw that second loss on him? Without a doubt, 100%.
Yeah, that first game, I don't even think anyone was expecting them to win that.
Right, but everyone, when they wanted to knock Lamar, especially after they lost last year in the playoffs, that's what they said. 0-2 in the playoffs. 0-2 in the playoffs. Can't win the big game. Anytime they play the Chiefs, the only big games they lost have been to the Chiefs and the Titans. We haven't seen them lose any other big games. We've seen them blow teams out in big games. We never seen them get beat in big games. So that's why for me, I was always like, that narrative isn't accurate, but that was the thing. So those are the storylines surrounding these guys. But now they got a situation to, like I said, change that, continue to win. Either one of those guys. It's a big opportunity, man.
Yeah, I think whoever loses, I don't think anyone should go to those extremes.
I agree.
Because I do think they proved they just won playoff games in pretty good fashion. So I think that's enough for me in terms of their development. Now, this one, it's like who wants to be elevated now to like kind of that next level.
And because I think this is the perfect matchup for both teams, is going to be respected as well. It's not like the Chiefs, for example, right? They're playing the Browns. If the Chiefs beat the Browns, they're going to say, well, you kind of got lucky with that matchup. It was supposed to have been, this team instead, but it worked out where you drew this team. Bills or Ravens, whoever wins that game, neither party can sit over here and say, well, you got lucky with that matchup. It's going to be, you earned that. Like, Bills, we fully respect you. Y'all are legit.
Bills have the better reputation for this specific season. But the Ravens are really hot.
Yes,
and they kind of have the legacy brand to them attached to them. So yeah, I don't think this game's a joke at all for either.
Who you got winning it, man?
I'm picking the Ravens, dude.
Okay.
I'm picking the Ravens. I do think it's going to come down to the wire. I think Lamar's going to be able to run on this Bills defense.
Okay.
That's kind of what I'm thinking. They'll be able to control the clock a little bit.
Yeah.
The Bills' strength, you would say probably in their defense is their pass covers or secondary.
Yeah, secondary.
But that's not necessarily what the Ravens specialize in, so I think that will neutralize it a little bit. And you've probably seen way more Bills games than anybody here that's listening, or just even me myself. Like their rush defense has been one of their problems this year.
It definitely has, man.
I think the interesting matchup is for sure the Bills offense versus the Ravens defense. It's like good on good there.
Yeah.
Bills like to throw the ball. Ravens have been really good in the secondary. So we'll see, man. I'm just leaning Ravens a little bit.
I like it, man. So for me, man, obviously I'm going to lean Buffalo here. I think the biggest difference is this. Even though the Bills have struggled with their rush defense, I do think a lot of it was related to the injuries that they dealt with throughout the year, especially at the linebacker spot. They were similar to us in terms of Devin Bush going down. They dealt with Tremaine Edmonds and Matt Milano going down at various times throughout the year. Both of these guys are back and they are healthy. I do think that they're going to play a lot better versus Lamar Jackson, because with Lamar, it's a different style of running. It's going to be the zone read stuff, but it's more so, do you have great athletes at linebacker? And Edmonds and Milano are great athletes.
So you think they're gonna sell out on.
Whereas like versus the Colts, they struggle versus that because the Colts aren't trying to trick you. The Colts are power running. They got guys up front that blow you off the ball. Jonathan Taylor, you saw him like you see when you're playing him. We're not trying to surprise you. We're gonna hit you in the mouth. Baltimore's more so we're gonna surprise you. I think that will bode well for the Bills because they have that type of athletic secondary, and especially at the linebacker spot, they got guys who can play in space. Offensively, though, for the Bills, that's going to be exciting. Like you said, when you talk about Marlon Humphreys, you talk about you talk about Marcus Peters, they got some guys on that back, and that's going to be the exciting part because obviously for the Bills, you got two All-Pros in Diggs and Cole Beasley out there as well, and John Brown, who's healthy now. So that adds another element, and then the rookie Gabriel Davis has done some really impressive things. It's going to be interesting. I think this is a really good match for both teams. I think it's going to be a high-scoring affair. I have it 30-28.
Okay.
I think the Bills find a way to pull it out at the end, but it's going to be one of them back-and-forth games. To me, That game and Bucks and Saints, I think, are going to be the best on the docket this weekend, man. Like, we could be wrong, but to me, those are the ones I'm most looking forward to, baby.
Hell yeah.
Like, they're going to be excited, man.
You want to get into Bucks and Saints?
We might as well, man. Because I feel like, depending on how you look at it, right? If you're an NFC guy, if you're a Brady guy, you look at that as like the marquee matchup. Yeah. Obviously, I got ties to Buffalo, so that's why I view Bills Ravens as the marquee matchup.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think those two are definitely the top two matchups this weekend, man.